good morning. Morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Clint.
Kathy Akers here with us on WHIG TV with Fathom Realty, the greatest real estate agent for Fathom Realty in the Twin Counties.
Thank you.
And Kathy comes to us this morning to talk about things, and we've already touched on one. We had a caller call in earlier, so we talk about all things real estate. And all things real estate isn't just selling a house.
It's true.
It's the total ownership, the life cycle from building to selling, all the way through.
Yeah.
And you've been a good supporter for that, so we appreciate what you're bringing to us.
Well, before we get started, Clint, this is, you and I know very much about this place.
Okay.
And I brought something back from West Virginia for you.
Oh, that is too awesome. That is too awesome right there. All right, so there's this place in Charleston, West Virginia called Pies and Pints.
Yes.
And I'm going to put this down because I will break it with my lip.
Yes.
They make pizza not like anybody else makes pizza. And these dollops of cheese are this big.
Amazing.
They're huge. And they only put like 4 of them on there, and then the tomato sauce, and it all melts in together. It is so good. You don't even need toppings. It's just perfect.
It is.
And
it
the
really
toppings
is.
are good, but you don't need toppings.
That's right.
And then they actually have some really nice different beers. I have craft beers, but they also have just kind of, they have like a champagne-y beer and kind of stuff. I really enjoy Pies and Pints. I've only been twice. The first time was the best time. The second time was really good, don't get me wrong, but it was crowded that time I went.
Well,
That place is a hot spot.
They do now have one in Richmond.
Oh, wow.
And hopefully they may be coming to the Carolinas, so we'll see what happens.
Keep them in business.
But we'll get down to business now.
Let's get down to
And of course, we've been talking
Thank you for that,
about.
by the way.
You're welcome. We've been talking about the hurricane, and I know we talked last month about getting ready. We did it in conjunction with going back to school,
Right.
and this being the busy part of the year. But there's some things that we probably need to just go back over. So whether you're renting, you own a home, these are all things that you really need to think about.
I see one on there. I know right away I want to add something to, because especially now, after for folks who went through Floyd or through Matthew, you may have thought about it. We have enough warning now that some of these things you can really take care of in advance.
Right. Well, first, let's talk about, most people have a mobile, a smartphone.
Right.
I know that there are some that still do not, but one of the things that to download is Ready NC. That mobile app is going to help you with tracking the storm, things along the way from the state that will help you through the hurricane. So just to put it out there, Ready NC, and it's for both iPhones and Androids. So think about that today as you're making your plans. And
here's the information you get from that. You get current weather condition, real-time traffic, where to report power outages, which is a big thing, open shelters near you in case there's something that goes on, counties being evacuated. So here's something, I'll give you an example. There's already been voluntary evacuations out of Wilmington.
Right.
So if there's voluntary and eventually it's going to be mandatory, there's people got to go somewhere.
Right.
They may be coming to your community. If you're in Fayetteville, and then Fayetteville's right in the line of path with this, Asheville and Charlotte may become the bedroom communities to all of Eastern North Carolina.
Right.
You know that stuff's coming.
Right. My son's UNC Wilmington, and they start at noon today with voluntary evacuations. And I was told, Mom, I may have some friends. So,
hey.
Well,
and other things on here, I think these are really good to mention. How to prepare and be safe for hazards, creating an emergency plan and a kit, real-time stream and river flooding information. Let me tell you, it's not the day of the event, it's the days after the event when those things are important. And then who to call for help in case something happens. What if you have a downed tree or electrical lines in your yard?
Right.
What do I do?
That's right.
Ready NC is the app that you need to get.
That's right. Of course, you had the caller just before before I came on. The other day I was in South Rocky Mount and was noticing the signs in the yard with the new roofs that, storm damage, insurance paid for these new roofs.
Right. New signs, new names that you've never seen before.
That's right.
And you generally know most of the folks in our area.
That's right. I know the roofers around here that do quality service and have been, around for quite a while, that are not these little fly-by-night companies. So if you need a roofer, please do not hesitate to call me, 252-266-4038.
266-4038. That's easy to remember. 266-4038.
And just remember, I've got a list of people that do roofing, and we've got references, all of that.
The only thing that does get to be a bit of frustration with that is after, if the hurricane hits Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we're recovering from it. You need a roof repaired immediately. You can't wait weeks. And some of the locals may get overwhelmed.
Right.
But they are expected to bring in help. Get the help from the local as they muscle up.
Right.
Don't necessarily do contract with somebody out of Florida that's only here for 2 weeks because they're coming in for storm repair and then gone. Because if there's something wrong with your roof, where are you going to go?
That's right. So think about that. I also have some just general maintenance people that can help with the tarps, those kinds of things. And so please don't rely on somebody that's coming and knocking on your door.
Right.
We don't know where they're from, what their qualifications are. The next thing is insurance.
This is the one I want to add something to. So
let's
so much.
There's some components here. One is, we talked about flood insurance and that kind of thing. Make sure you have all your policy information together.
Yep.
You've got it in a waterproof container, because if you're out in the rain, you're going to get them wet.
Go get those freezer bags, the big freezer bags, quarter gallons,
gallon size,
and put your documents in there and get the double zip, and then you'll be double prepared.
That's right. Now, there's a couple of things. One is, what if you're buying a home this week?
Ooh.
And there may be somebody out there, you hadn't thought about that one. And this is for both the buyer and the seller. I've already seen some of the agents in Fathom. We have a communication system that the one agent had checked on some insurance riders. They have frozen any amendments and policies this week.
Oh, wow. Because it's in action.
That's right. So
you can't retroactively add coverage.
You can't add.
And the state of emergency by Roy Cooper was called into effect on Friday.
Right.
And I'm glad he did, but if he hadn't done it yet, then you could have added it.
That's right. But, if you are closing this week, sellers, do not, I repeat, do not cancel that homeowner's insurance.
No.
Remember when Fran came through, it was on a Friday night. Sellers canceled their insurance. They were closing that day, but the deeds were not recorded until Monday.
Ooh.
Guess who still owned the house?
The seller.
The seller. They no longer had homeowners insurance. It did not cover the damage. So please.
And this was hitting on Thursday night, Friday, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
So please do not cancel your homeowner's insurance until you know the deed has been recorded and that seller's insurance, or the buyer's insurance, has taken effect. Buyers, check with your insurance company and your bank.
Right.
Your bank is not going to close on the loan if your insurance is froze right now. So
there might be some delays.
There may be some delays, so prepare for that. Yep. These are things that we don't always talk about and we don't think about. So hang in there and, make sure that you've got your ducks in a row and you know what's going on with that. You had
Well, your next item on there is I can't recommend this one enough. And the best tool in the world is this one right here. What you're getting ready to talk about.
This
inventory.
One, the inventory.
Yeah,
okay.
Because then to me that goes with insurance.
That's right.
Because if it's inventory is on her list there.
That's right.
When you make a claim, say you have damage or you have losses,
right.
How are you going to verify you owned what you had? Because in some cases, and if you remember Hurricane Matthew.
Right.
If you remember Irma and Harvey last year, when you saw the dump trucks moving people's belongings and the earth movers moving all that stuff to the curbs, and then people coming up and scooping that up and throwing it away, they didn't even have time to inventory. They didn't have time to pick through their belongings. You need to document room by room, item by item, and use
Right.
video. You don't have to use photos. Just take a video and you can narrate as you're doing it
Well,
and upload it to the cloud. Don't save it on an SD card.
Right.
Upload it
That's
to the
in cloud.
cloud and make an itemized inventory on video, and then you can write all that stuff down for yourself later on if you need it.
Well, I would even suggest that you actually take a picture of the serial numbers and
Oh,
things
that
like
definitely.
you know, especially on your electronics. You know, I use just yesterday we were trying to determine the age on a water heater. You know, a quick click with my camera and I can pull
up all the information.
all that information
Yep.
and see what the date and things
I
are.
will tell you, Google has an app, and it's for both Android and Apple. It's called Google Lens. It's part of their camera system. If you pull up the Google app and Google Assistant, you know, if anybody knows how to do Google Assistant on the phone, that'll pull up and automatically has a little icon for it.
Right.
Any Google-owned phone, so a Pixel, has it in the actual camera app. So you can just put over a barcode. You can aim it at a couch, and it'll tell you that's a red couch from Williams-Sonoma or something like
Whatever.
that. That app can help identify all those things.
Right. So, you know, definitely think, and this is for anybody and everybody. So think about those things. Have you done an inventory?
Inventory.
right.
Inventory. I mean, your cars, your jewelry,
Yes.
everything. Take
Yes.
inventories, because if the worst comes, if there's a flood, if there's wind and there's tree damage, or there's electrical fire, are you thinking about what you own, or are you trying to get out and be safe?
That's right. The getting prepared, and we've talked about this before. You know, trimming back the trees around, you know, and the tree guys are going to be like the roofers. They are going to be extremely busy right now. But think about if you have anything brushing the roof, if it's something that you know, you can get to, you know, quickly and easily. You know, if it's a two-story, you know,
Right.
get the help. But you know, this is the time to start thinking about, you know, your patio furniture, the swing sets, you know, taking down
Anything that's loose. Yeah.
Yes, and that includes, please don't forget, the bird feeders and those
become
shepherd
projectiles.
hooks and those kinds of things have at 75 miles an hour, which it's gone, and
projectile.
it will go through a
Cement
house
and brick and
that kind of
windows
thing.
and-
And we're talking that potentially 140 mile an hour winds.
Cat 4, which is just, there's nothing to stop it.
That's right.
That's what's so scary about this. Now, once it hits land, it will diminish pretty quickly, but it's moving quickly. So the word is that in less than 6 hours, it's going to move from Wilmington to Greensboro.
Right.
That's a short amount of time, and you don't have time to move out of the way of something that big.
No. You know, think about, you know, you walk by it every day, you don't think about it. Some of your planters are probably big enough to be okay, but what about the other little pots of flowers and things like that? Just move it to a little secure spot.
Well, if you have the plastic planters,
yeah.
even if they're big, they don't have the stability
Yeah.
that the
That's right.
potted ones or clay ones do.
That's right. So think about those things, kids' toys, you know, and all of that.
And animals. Don't forget about your animals.
Yes,
you know,
please.
And I know there's folks out there who still chain theirs up or do what they're going to do or leave the cat out. Don't do that this week.
Please don't.
Don't do that.
You know, make arrangements because they need to be safe as well. And last but not least is having a plan. What happens, you know, kids are taught this in school. You know,
Right.
if there's a fire, where are you going, where are you meeting, and that kind of thing.
Yep.
You know, you talked about having emergency numbers. Facebook has a check-in app. You know, all safe, check-in. You know, those are some things to talk about with your family and friends and those that you need to communicate with. How are you going to communicate?
Especially if you're not in the same location.
That's right.
That's important.
You know, having those plans in place that if you're staying in place to weather it out or if you're evacuating, you know, go back
Well, I
to
want
that.
tell you something else here that's
that
a problem
ready
with these
and
things. We don't know phone numbers anymore.
That's right.
We know names, we know icons. I know to, you know, hit you know A on here, and I'm going to find who I want. But actually remembering individual phone numbers,
No.
we're not writing them down as anymore because our phones are keeping it for us. Take your contacts list And you can back it up to Google, iPhone, all that stuff. That's fine, but make sure you write down the numbers that are important to you.
That's right.
Including your employer, because you know what? I know a lot of folks, this happened to me when Floyd hit. I worked in Raleigh at the time. Raleigh was hardly touched by Floyd.
Right.
We had a national disaster going on in the Twin Counties, and they're like, why can't you get to work today?
Right.
I'm like, well.
Well, you know, even with Matthew, my son evacuated Wilmington during Matthew. He got here, and he was expected to be back at work in Wilmington, and he couldn't get there because of all the flooding. So think about that. Make sure you have those numbers available, you know, besides family, friends, but
all the important
all
numbers
the important numbers. That includes your insurance companies, guys. Make sure you have, whether it's an 800 number or your local agent, make sure you have those numbers as well.
And be patient. Now, that's going to be my last thought for the day. Is as these things are happening, and if you happen to be a victim of the storm, no matter if you're a little victim or a big victim,
that's right.
Be patient, because you're not the only one out there that may be suffering. And so the agents on the phone, let's be honest, a lot of them may be in Texas or Kathmandu for all we know. They are only going to be able to do so much at one time, and yelling at them won't fix it faster.
No. We're all going to be in the same situation. So, you know, patience, you know, follow those reliable sources, you know, and everybody stay safe.
Now, the very last thing I'm going to recommend, and this is where I hate that we don't have Radio Shack anymore, but go to Walmart, and I'll actually add this. Amazon delivers batteries and water. So if you can't get it at your local store, you can literally go to Amazon, and with Amazon Prime, it'll be here by Wednesday or Thursday.
Right.
But you can get a radio, battery-operated transistor radio, 9-volt batteries or AAA batteries. Get you one of those radios, because the power goes out. If the phones go out, we could have a week without any power. You know, you're not going to be able to charge your phones after a few days.
Right.
You know, if some of us can do it in the car or whatnot, get you one of those little transistor radios and just keep it with the battery. Don't leave the battery in there. Leave it out, and then put the battery in when you need it, just in case, so that you can tune in to the radio stations to get all the important information.
Right. My kids laugh because I still have my boom box in the closet.
There you go.
It still works.
Still works.
And we still use it during these situations.
You know, there's something, you know, I don't know, comforting about when you have these storms and there's no power. Even just in the normal fall when we have, you know, bad weather and stuff, when you turn the lights out and you have the candles on, you put the radio on. It's just what you do.
That's right. That's right. But again, you know, that Ready NC will help you make your plans. That'll give you the information that you need to keep up with. And, you know, everybody, I just hope you stay safe during this storm.
Yep. All right, Kathy, we appreciate it. And again, in the roofing and in construction and any flim-flams, if somebody wants to confirm whether a contractor is of a good repute, how can they get in touch with you?
252-266-4038.
And you know, you have a long list of handymen who may be able to help some folks who might need stuff battened down. Again, give Kathy a call. Kathy, thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you, Clint.
All right, we'll see you in a little while. We'll be right back with more of WHIG's weather with Fred Holdsworth.